That was insane.
Dude, they're so excited and they're so just absolutely stoked. You know, my pianist JJ walking out there, he was getting swarmed by kids. He just ran chased them all the way back to the van, it looks like.
So cool.
Yeah, it's so beautiful to see. That's how we were about the Jonas Brothers when I was that age.
Yeah. Teddy Swims is now the equivalent of the Jonas Brothers.
Not even close.
Which Jonas brother do you reckon you relate to the most?
Well, I've always had a big crush on Nick, though, personally. I mean, Taylor and Kevin, they're all babes, you know?
Yeah.
Absolute babes, still to this day. Absolute babes.
How does one family have like that good genetics, you know?
I don't know. Better than mine, for sure.
What was high school like for you? Were you really big into singing then?
When high school was the first time I got into musical theater and stuff, and it changed my life. Yeah, that's when I started singing, really. And I was in my senior year, started my first like little post-hardcore metal band, you know, and that's where I started really, like, my first bands ever were metal bands, and still with the guy that was just playing guitar with me, Jesse. We did everything together, theater and bands and everything. So.
Do you remember being on the streets trying to get a bit of
we
coin?
did it. So me and Jesse used to all the time. Our parents would give us like $20, and you know we'd do what like most 16-year-olds do with $20, you know, but not go see the movie. So we just sit out there and sing and play and sing and try to just see if anybody. And at the time, everybody was like, "Don't quit your day job. You guys suck," you know. And we were bad, you know. And I think we just eventually just kept on, and we're just relentless about it.
When did you know? Oh, I might actually be able to make some money out of this.
So our first cover that ever went viral was the first one we ever did, that Michael Jackson cover, and it was going viral over here first, and that's why our second cover we ever did was by 660, that Rivers cover, and that was when it really started exploding. And over here, especially, this was like my first ever audience was here in New Zealand, so that's why we always make sure we come here. This is my favorite place in the world because of that.
How do you think having the success now in your 30s would be different to if you'd done it like in your 20s? And I imagine the music industry as well, a lot of people come through so young.
Yeah, I think for me, there was so much of my life that I wanted everything right now, you know, right then, and I feel like I just was so impatient about why am I not having this, and I would even see some of my friends that were kind of, you know, getting things for them and be so proud of them and be like, man, I know my time's coming, but I wish it was just right now, you know, and all the struggling I did to get here, I just wish it would have been then. And now that I'm getting it, at the age I'm getting it, and I guess where I'm at mentally getting it, I am able to receive it and not be awful about it, you know, because I think if I would have gotten it earlier at any time, I probably would have absolutely been stupid about it. You know, I'd have been such a child about it, and absolutely would have squandered it. Certainly, probably would have drank too much, probably would have partied too much, probably would have just absolutely, you know, blown it and not really realize the implications of what I'm getting to do and what I'm allowed to do and what the difference that I can actually make. I'm super glad that timing is what it is, you know, and I think the universe works in that way when it gives you what you need when you can handle it. I always had the promise of this, you know, and I thought there's nothing I'd ever wanted to do more than this, and there was nothing I was ever going to do but this. And I mean, even if it still didn't happen, I would be singing in every corner in every room that I possibly could to get here, and I just would never going to accept anything else from my life, and no matter what that came with. And knowing now too, I'm only one decision away, one circumstance away from going back into being in that same hard place I was. And so I take every step I take with such intention and integrity, because it matters so much, and it's such a grateful step to be taking. So it means a lot to me, and I make sure I protect it.
Because in New Zealand we've got tall poppy syndrome, and that's like about pulling people down if they're trying to shine. So like, what's something that they can do to help get through those tough times, especially as a teenager?
I say no matter what, you got to follow your gut. You know, I think that your heart can, you know, be deceitful, and your mind can play tricks on you, and people can push you in any direction they want you to go in, and tell you that what you should be doing is you should have a backup plan and that you should do things. And I'm grateful for my father. When I was going to college, I was doing hair school, and he had told me, he's like, son, if you really want to do this, you need to drop out of school. And I'm not saying that kids should drop out of school. I'm not saying that. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is that you should focus on this and know that it's achievable and that you can do it, and do whatever it takes to get there, and follow your gut. If your gut and your heart's telling you that you need to do something and that's where you belong, then if you don't do that with your life, if you don't do what you're supposed to in your life, I think you end up robbing a lot of people of a blessing that only you can give them. You know, there's something so special about your voice. It's only yours, and it's your thumbprint on the world, and no matter what instrument you can play, you could sound like anyone else, but with your voice, it's so personal. I think it's so important that if you have a voice and you feel like it's a burden on you, a calling on you to share your voice, then you'd be crazy not to, and you could be potentially robbing millions of people a blessing if you don't do what you feel called to do. And I think, and it doesn't have to just be singing, it could be anything, you know, but I think follow and pursue your calling and your gut no matter what, is what I'm saying.